I'm happy to be joined by our County Executive, Mark Elrich, as well as the Director for the Department of Environmental Protection, my good friend, Adam Ortiz, and then the great and able leader of our President of the Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors, Jan Brito, who's with us as well. And I'll explain a little bit about why they're all here, because this was a true partnership. This was a partnership in terms of making sure that folks came together, understanding that there was a safety issue here in Montgomery County that needed to be addressed. And we all needed to put our heads together to figure out how to make it happen so that we could come up with a law that would actually protect our community. Radon is the silent killer. It's the leading cause of lung cancer. And I want to say that again, because I don't think that folks give enough appreciation to that statement. It is the leading cause of lung cancer. It claims about 21,000 Americans each and every year. Maryland, unfortunately, because of its location and its topographical and geographical location, makes it at a higher risk of radon in the soil. In fact, the areas in the East Coast, in the Mid-Atlantic region, are at a higher risk, as are some other areas. It tends to be areas that have a rocky base layer. But there are things that we can do. To help to mitigate the risk. And that's why what we're doing here in Montgomery County, that we hope that other jurisdictions throughout the state and the nation will do, is just so important. And that's testing for radon is important. We need to do that. We need to make sure that we're continuing to test. But if we do find those levels of radon that are higher, we actually need to do something about it. We need to mitigate. And so sponsoring this bill 3115, and Councilmember Katz, who was my co-sponsor on this, and it was unanimously approved by the council and signed into law in November of 2015, make sure that every single home that's sold is tested for radon. And that's why I want to thank our Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors, because working with them on developing a process that would keep their clients safe, but would also be fair to the folks who are selling their homes, was something that could not have been done without the partnership of GCAR. And I really want to thank, again, Director Ortiz for his great work. The Department of Environmental Protection continues to provide resources for folks, helping folks to understand about testing, about where to get tests. And I know that one of the things that we're looking at is the possibility in the future. Unfortunately, right now we're in some fiscal constraints, but of being able to actually disseminate tests to folks in the community who may be of lower income, who need to have a test done. I know that other jurisdictions throughout the nation are starting to do this, and I think it's something that we need to look at for Montgomery County. But again, really want to say this again. I really thank everyone for their partnership. It's not on a lot of people's radar screens about the dangers of radon. And for us to have stepped up and done what we have done is just absolutely tremendous. As I drive down 270 and see those signs across the highway talking about radon awareness, it really says something about how serious we're taking this, and really highlights the importance of what it is that we've done in terms of protecting our community. So with that, I'll turn it over to County Executive Elrich.
So I'm really happy to join you on this. This was such an important bill, and I know that sometimes things like this get trivialized because most people don't think about radon. And so I know there was a reaction from some people that, oh, this is just a feel-good legislation. This isn't feel-good legislation. This is cancer-preventing legislation. And like you said, it is primary cause of lung cancer. It is insidious. You don't know it's there. There are no warning signs. It's not like you can smell a gas or anything else. It is just there. And unless you test for it, you don't know whether you've got a problem. The good news is that you can mitigate this. And so even if you've got a house, it doesn't mean you've got to abandon ship. It just means you need to do some things to make sure that the radon gas is pulled out and pumped away from your house. Testing is the only way to do that. And like you said, test kits are available at home improvement retailers or online. And hopefully, I think next year when things are more normalish, things like relief or assistance for people to get testing where there is no testing is the kind of things that'll be more feasible. Um, the mitigation systems they're not cheap, but they're also not terribly expensive. It's basically a fan and some piping. So this can be done. It can be done safely. New homes have to have things in place, but it's the older homes in the county, and lots of housing exists on rocky slabs. The rock is so close to the surface in Montgomery County, just so people understand how serious it is. In Silver Spring, if you were building a building, you would be lucky if you could get down 10 feet before you start hitting rock formations. So it is very close to the surface, and it's something that we all have to be aware of. So I want to thank you. Thanks for inviting me to this. I was one of the co-sponsors back then. I thought this is really, really important legislation. I also want to thank GCAR, because anytime we talk about regulation, this can be a hard subject, but this was not a hard discussion. I kind of proved the point that they've made over years is that if you work with them to achieve things that we know we need to achieve, they're willing to do that. You just have to make sure you work with them. And so I was really happy that worked as well as it did. And thank you for your leadership on this, and you too, Mr. Katz. It was a big lift, and the whole council, which made it unanimous. Thanks.
Thank you very much, County Executive. And you teed it up perfectly for our president of GCAR, Jan Brito. Jen, you're muted.
Good morning. How's everybody? I'd like to thank Councilmember Rice and the council, as well as County Executive Elrich, for recognizing the importance of protecting against the harmful effects of radon. Now more than ever, the health and safety of our clients and the community is of critical importance. GCAR looks forward to our continued work together in overcoming the challenge.
Thank you very much, Ms. Brito. And let me turn to, again, my good friend, my partner in so many things, including our Chesapeake Bay Water Resource Policy Committee, where we shared a lot of these great things that we've done in terms of protecting our environment and protecting our constituency, the leader of our Department of Environmental Protection, Director Adam Ortiz.
Well, thank you, Councilman. It's been fantastic being your partner over all these years, and to work with you more closely here in Montgomery County on so many things that matter to everyday people, and in ways that we often take for granted. I think it took a lot of foresight for you to exhibit the leadership that you did in 2015, and that you continue to do today with this providing this proclamation. There's a close intersection between environmental sustainability and public health and equity, in that folks that don't always have the resources often suffer the most. And this is the case in this issue. It is a silent killer. It's something that our county has been proactive about, and our department stands ready to give education and technical resources to anybody that's interested in just checking their homes. And we're happy to work with realtors and any other community stakeholders to make sure that our people are safe.
Well, thank you very much. So, Mr. County Executive, I think we'll go ahead and read the proclamation. If you have that in front of you, I'll go ahead and begin. Whereas radon is an invisible, odorless, radioactive gas that is the leading cause of lung cancer among non-smokers in the United States and claims the lives of 21,000 Americans each year. And
whereas 1 in 15 homes across the nation has radon levels above the recommended guidelines, and the Environmental Protection Agency has designated Montgomery County as a Zone 1 area, which has the highest potential for critical radon levels. And
whereas Montgomery County was the first jurisdiction in the United States to enact a law requiring single-family homes to be tested for radon prior to being sold, because the only way to know if your home has elevated radon levels is to test. And
whereas January is National Radon Action Month, a perfect time to promote radon awareness, as testing is the most effective in cooler weather months when houses tend to be closed up for warmth. And
whereas the U.S. Surgeon General recommends every home be tested for radon because testing is inexpensive, easily available through the mail or local home improvement stores, and reasonable steps can be taken to reduce radon levels to mitigate the health risk it poses.
Now, therefore, do we, Mark Elrich as County Executive, Tom Hucker as County Council President, and Craig Rice as Council Member of Montgomery County, Maryland, do hereby proclaim January 2021 as National Radon Action Month and urge all residents to test their homes for radon and, if necessary, make simple but life-saving improvements in their homes or building to lower their health risks. Signed this 12th day of January in the year 2021.
So thank you very much to everyone. Really appreciate it. Everyone, please go get your home tested if you haven't gotten it tested. If you have questions about where to get a test and how to do it, please go on to the Department of Environmental Protection website here in Montgomery County, or give them a call 311. They will be able to assist you. Thanks so much, guys. Take care and stay safe.